Hello, guys, and welcome to episode 5 of The Inside Scoop. I'm your host, Cooper, and you may notice I have something different about me. Yes, I'm wearing glasses today. I just recently got these glasses just a few days ago, and I absolutely love them. They make me feel very smart and also kind of old. I feel like, wow, I'm grown up now. Even though I used to wear glasses when I was little, but I absolutely hated them. So I never would have thought that I would be here now wearing glasses again, but I like the style of these a lot better than the ones I had when I was like 6 or something. So anyways, today's episode, I'm going to be talking about things I just don't understand in life, which these are just a few things that I've written down. But of course, there's so many things that I do not understand. And I'm sure you guys have things that you don't understand either. So if you have anything that I've missed, then make sure to leave in the comments. I'd love to see what you guys think about this. But with that being said, I'm going to get right into it. So the first thing, I was sitting in my math class this week and I was just thinking, I do not understand calculators at all. I don't really get how you can plug in numbers into this calculator and it just solves it by itself. I don't know how it works, and it just doesn't make any sense to me because it knows if you've done calculus, like you'll learn integrals and antiderivatives and things like that. And I just do not know. It makes no sense how it can not only do the math, but do it so quickly. It does it in literally less than a second. It's incredible. And whoever made calculators, I just don't understand it because it's like it does math that humans can't even do. A human didn't plug in every single number and input it into the calculator. So to me, it's just really hard to wrap my brain around that. And I honestly don't think I'll ever understand it. So I'm not going to try it. But it was just something that I was thinking about because I knew that today's episode was going to be on things that I don't understand. And so this week, I was really trying to think about what don't I understand? And I was literally just sitting in my math class and I was like, yeah, this makes no sense. Like, if you're learning calculus, that makes sense. I know how to do the calculus and I know how to do it on my calculator, but it's like, how does the calculator know? And also, did calculus not exist before the calculator was invented? I don't know. It's just so hard for me to wrap my brain around. Yeah, and I will never understand it. It's so cool, and technology in general is really cool. And honestly, I'm not going to get into more technology, but I don't really understand technology as a whole. The only other thing I'll say about technology is Bluetooth. Bluetooth is such a weird concept to me. Like, I don't understand really how you can wear AirPods now and it just connects. Like, I don't understand. And that's the same thing with Wi-Fi. I just don't get it. And I've never really been good with tech things. So I'm sure people who who are really good at tech might understand stuff like that, but I just don't. I don't get it at all. It makes no sense to me. And just technology as a whole is such a hard concept for me to wrap my brain around as someone who has never been good with technology, with things like that. Yeah, if you know how it works, you can try to explain it to me, but honestly, I don't think I'll get it. Anyways, moving on from that, I have traffic. Traffic to me, like, I understand that, of course, after people get off of work, there's going to be traffic, but to me, what doesn't make sense about traffic is 1 second you're in standstill traffic. There's no movement at all, and it's miserable. You're waiting in this line to get home, and normally you can get home in 15 minutes, but no, because of the traffic, you're getting home in an hour or something. I don't understand how it can be so standstill, but then like a few minutes later, you're going the speed limit. I don't understand how it goes back and forth. In my brain, if one place is filled with traffic, then all of the roads should be filled with traffic. Like, it's just so hard for me to get it because I don't get how it can like vary so much. Like 1 second you're in standstill, 1 second you can go the regular speed limit. I don't know. And I understand how traffic happens in the first place, like I said. You know, there are certain times when people are out and about more. That makes sense to me, but it's just the start and stop of it. I don't get how it's so inconsistent. Yeah. Next, I have languages. if you don't know me personally, then you probably won't know this. Well, I hope you don't know this because that'd be very creepy if you do, but I used to be fluent in Spanish when I was younger. And in high school, I've taken 3 years. About 2 and actually no, 3 years because I have 3 weeks left of my junior year, but I've taken Spanish freshman, sophomore, and junior year. So I'm starting to learn it again, but I used to be fluent. But what doesn't make sense to me about languages is like when I am learning Spanish, when someone says a word in Spanish, my brain translates it to English automatically. It just does, like, and that's how I understand it. And I'm sure the same thing would be for French or German, whatever language it is. In my brain, because I know English so well, my brain would translate that to the English language so that I could make sense of it in my brain. But my question is like, if you don't know English, how do you not translate it in your brain to something? I don't know. It's just so hard to wrap my brain around. And it's weird because I literally used to be fluent in it. And when I was a child, I don't think I translated it. I think I just knew. But it's like hard for me to understand the concept of like, no, they don't translate it to English because they actually don't know English. You know what I mean? Someone who only speaks Spanish and doesn't speak English, they obviously don't translate it in their brain to English. And it's just really hard. That concept is so hard. It's like, I think you can only understand it if you do know multiple languages at once and you're fluent in them. I think that's the only way you can really understand how it works. But it's incredible to me, and to be able to speak multiple languages fluently, that is so cool to me. And some people can speak like 20 different languages, and I'm like, wow, English is hard enough in itself. So to speak 20 different ones, I'm like, that's so impressive. And shout out to you if you can do that. That takes talent. But yeah, and English in general, to me, also doesn't really make sense. I feel like English is the hardest language to make sense of because there are like words that we have silent letters for, or they just make a completely different sound. And I feel like no other language really has that. For example, PH and like phone. PH makes an F sound, but in other languages, it would just be an F for that. There's no random 2 letters that you can put together to make a different sound. And that is where English is just so complicated. And like, for what? I don't know. It's hard. And I'm so grateful to have grown up with English being my first language, because I know for a fact that if I grew up speaking a different language and then I tried to learn English, it would be 10 times harder because it doesn't make sense. And there are words that like have 2 meanings, and English is such a hard language. And I just know that if I didn't grow up speaking it, I would never learn it. So shout out to my parents for speaking English because, yeah, there's just no way. I just don't really understand languages, I guess. It's just very hard for me to wrap my brain. So next, I have blindness. And I'm not saying that I don't understand how someone can be blind. I do understand, like, of course, some people are just born blind or something happens and they become blind. But what doesn't make sense to me is the idea of them not seeing anything. I physically cannot understand it because I saw this video about it, and it was kind of someone explaining what it's like to be blind. And they were like, imagine seeing out of your elbow. But it's like, of course I can't see out of my elbow. I don't have an eye on my elbow. And they were like, yeah, that's what it's like to be blind. But then I cannot wrap my brain around the fact that, like, so you don't see anything at all? So what is your life like? Because they were like, you also don't see black either. You just see nothing. And it's just really, really hard to think about that because, of course, I've grown up my whole life seeing, maybe not having the best eyesight, of course, because I have glasses now, but I could still see. I can see the people in front of me, around me. Even when I close my eyes, I see like a black or gray, or if I'm in the sun and I close my eyes, I can see like a kind of orangish tint. But no, blind people don't even see that. And so I just can't imagine that. And that makes me think of like, if they can't see that, do they have dreams? Can they imagine things that are realistic or no? Because if you're blind, you've never seen those things. So it's like, are you able to imagine them or no? Because I just can't imagine my life like that. And if you're blind, I'm just trying to put myself in your shoes and think about that. But that's incredible that you're living life where maybe it's not as colorful as other people. And even color blindness, it's like, I just feel like I would be very sad if all the colors were so dull. Like, I think part of my love for life is like, there's so many colors, there's so much beauty around. And I just feel like it would be so much harder to see that beauty if my eyes like literally couldn't see it and I was colorblind and all those colors were darker or more dull or gray. Or if I couldn't see anything at all. If you're blind and you still are finding ways to love life and to experience life to the fullest, like, shout out to you. That's amazing and that's so cool. And if you guys have any way to kind of explain that to me, I'd love to hear you out. It's so hard for me to understand. I don't get it, and I obviously don't have personal experience being blind. Yeah. And along with kind of like eyesight and blindness, colors to me are just really interesting to think about because I'm in physics right now at school and we had a unit on colors and he kind of explained to us it's kind of impossible to know if you're seeing the same colors as someone else. It's just impossible to know because if you grow up thinking red is red for you, what if someone else grows up and their red is your purple? I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but I think that makes sense. But there's no way of knowing that, yes, my red is the same as your red. All these colors, we're seeing the same things. And we know that colorblind people see it differently because they can't tell the difference, like because different colors look the same to them. But if people who are not colorblind, we don't know if we're seeing the same thing. And I think that's kind of cool to think about of what if we aren't? Like, also that goes with aesthetics because I feel like in our world today, it's like these colors go well together. They look good together. But it's like in your brain, they look good. But what if someone else is seeing completely different colors? And it's like they're told that those colors go together, but they're actually seeing different colors than you. So they're probably like, that's so ugly. Those colors do not go together, you know? But it's just so strange that we'll never know, really, because you can't enter someone else's brain and see what they're seeing. You can't look inside their minds. You'll never be them. So yeah, and the same thing goes with, like, I don't understand how scientists discover what dogs see or, like, what bugs are seeing. I just don't understand that really because it's like, you're not a dog. How can you go inside the brain of a dog and see what they're seeing? I don't know. And if you do that type of work, I don't know, maybe it makes sense to you, but it's so hard for me to think about that because it's like, well, you don't know for a fact that that's what they see because you're not living your life as a dog, you're a human. It's complicated. But I also think it's cool, and scientists who are discovering those things, however they're discovering those things, that is honestly very fascinating and very cool that you're doing that. Shout out to the scientists. That's pretty cool. I will never be a scientist because I just don't really understand those things. But to all of the scientists out there, that's so cool. And I continue to be fascinated by those things. With scientists, actually, I wanted to talk about space. Space in general is just a concept that I don't think I'll ever understand. To me, it's hard for me to think, well, we live on Earth, but there's so many planets out there. There's galaxies. There's all of these things out there, but this singular planet, Earth, is the only planet with life on it. Like, that's so hard to believe. Why? Why, of all these planets, are we the only one with life? And I know that that's not confirmed because, of course, scientists are like, there may be life on other planets, but I just don't know. But I also don't feel like if there was life on other planets, it's like, would they be aliens? Because we would be aliens to them. I don't know. It's weird to think about. And it's like, on other planets, what are they doing there? I don't know. It's just so crazy to me. And also just like thinking about the moon. When I see videos of the moon landing, they're always on the surface of the moon. And obviously there's not gravity there, so they're just like kind of floating up and like they're on the surface. They're seeing craters and everything like that. But how come on our planet we're like inside of the planet? Like we're not on the edge and we don't look around and we just see stars and blackness. It's just, I can't wrap my brain around it. And I haven't done a lot of research on this, so honestly, I'm very uneducated about it. It's just wild to me. Space is so wild to me. And the idea of space being infinite. I can't wrap my brain around space being infinite. I can't really wrap my brain around anything being infinite. Like, the space never ends. It's like, for me, there has to be an ending. There has to be the wall where it cuts off. But it's like, no, space is never ending. And that is just so crazy to me. And I don't understand it at all. At all. And yeah, I just don't get it. Yeah, so those things are really deep. So I wanted to get into maybe a little bit lighter of a subject with this next one. This one's not really as deep. It's just kind of my personal opinion. But action movies, I just don't get them. I don't get the appeal to them. I think there are a few that can grab my attention, but for me, I like watching movies if they're either sad or romantic. Pretty much anything other than that, I just become bored and I don't want to watch it anymore. And I'm like, I'm just not really interested in people with lightsabers and swords and weapons fighting against each other to save the world. I don't get it. I guess I like more realistic films. I don't like the things that aren't really possible. I don't like all these superheroes because in real life, there's not superheroes who are shooting spider webs out of their palms and stuff, you know? Like, my hero lives in heaven, but he's not doing all of those things to show that he's a hero. He saved my life, but he didn't save my life by fighting crime and stuff. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense to me. I like watching cinematic masterpieces, if you will. I like to watch movies where there's a romance that builds up and the guy and the girl are yearning for each other. Those are the type of things I like. Or I like sad movies. They make me really sad, but I feel like I like the feeling of just experiencing the sadness and understanding and really just trying to bond with the character in a way, even though the character's on a screen. But I like to put myself in the character's shoes and feel how the character is feeling. Yeah. So the movies with superheroes and all those things, they just don't make sense to me. And I understand everyone has different tastes, so I'm not judging you if you do like superhero movies or you don't like romance movies or anything like that. This is solely a personal opinion, so no judgment. But yeah, next I have the Mandela Effect. It is just so weird to me, the idea of so many people remembering one thing, but it's like, that was never how it was. If you don't know what the Mandela Effect is, I encourage you to search it up, but I'll try to explain it the best I can. But it's kind of where the reality is there, but then there's a large group of people who remember reality differently, but they all remember the different reality in the same way. For example, in Curious George, if you ever watched that growing up, great show. But in Curious George, the monkey never has a tail, but then thousands of people remember Curious George having a tail. It's like, why? Why do so many people remember the same thing? That's just not true. That's really hard for me to think about. Like, why is there such a large population of people who all remember the same thing, but it's just not reality? That's so weird to me. And it's like, do people think that he had a tail because it would look better that way? Is our brain going to what would be most aesthetic or what we feel would be right because monkeys have tails? Are we saying, oh yeah, he had a tail because we're just thinking about regular monkeys? We're like, it makes sense for him to have a tail, but we're not going off of our actual memory? Is that why we get confused? I don't know. And it's an interesting concept, but it's also cool. We can all relate to it because we're all remembering the wrong thing, but we're all remembering it together so we can bond over that. And I find it really cool to like, go online and see all of the different examples of the Mandela Effect. I think there's one about the Kit Kat wrapper. Does it have a hyphen? I think that's the word. A hyphen between the kit and the cat. Or does it not? It doesn't, but a lot of people remember it having one. It's just really cool, and it's weird that our minds work like that and just don't perceive reality in a way. We just kind of make up our own reality, but then we get so convinced that it's real. That is just so crazy to me. And it's just a really interesting concept. And the last thing that I have on my list, this is not the last thing of things I don't understand because I'm only 17 years old. There are billions of things I don't understand, but this was the last one I could come up with. But the last thing is just serious people in general. Just people who don't smile, they don't laugh a lot, they don't like to joke around. I just have a really, really hard time imagining that. And that's probably because my whole life I've grown up just thinking everything was funny. I just laugh because I think it's fun. But I just cannot imagine a life where I just don't find things funny and I just walk around being so serious all the time. It's not how I roll. And I honestly don't think it's how you should roll. I think that it's important to laugh and smile and find the things that you love. In the Bible, Proverbs 17:22 actually says, "A cheerful heart is good medicine." And I think that is so important. It's like, we should be cheerful. We should be uplifting. We shouldn't be just dragging ourselves along and pulling other people down with us. No, we need to be uplifting each other. We need to be laughing and bonding over things. And laughing is good medicine for the soul. Laughing brings people together. Laughing makes us happy and joyful. And that is good medicine. Even God has a sense of humor. So we should also be able to laugh about things. We should also be able to have fun and not be so serious all the time. And I think that oftentimes people will use their situations to be like, well, yeah, I just don't ever feel like smiling. I don't feel like that because of what I've been through. But while what you're going through is valid and how you're feeling is valid, I think that one of the only ways to get through those times is by finding joy in the little things, by laughing, by experiencing the beauty of the world and taking it all in. Because when you're serious all the time, when you're not trying to find the beauty in the world, that's when you're going to stay in that depression. You're going to stay in that anxiety for longer periods of time, right? You're going to get stuck there. But if you took a chance to look around, if you wanted to experience it all, you took the time to notice the beauty of the world, I think everyone's lives would be drastically more joyful. And I just think that's so, so important. It's important to smile. And like I said in one of my other episodes, like sometimes I forget to smile and I'm just like going around feeling meh. But when I'm reminded to smile and I lift my shoulders up and I walk like I'm meant to be here, that's when my life gets a little bit brighter. And I encourage you, if you're in this stage in life where you're just feeling bleh, you're feeling like you don't have a purpose, you're feeling like nothing brings you joy, I encourage you to genuinely just search for joy, search for the little things. They don't have to be these huge, extravagant things. Search for the little things. Pet your dog for longer than you normally would. Instead of walking past your dog when you walk into the house, pet your dog. Give him kisses, hug him, and it's fine. I know his tongue is probably disgusting and he smells bad, but that might bring you joy that you haven't experienced in a long time. Look for the little things in life and grow a zest for life, if you will. I think I have a zest for life and for learning, and I haven't always had that. I think I've grown it over time, and I find joy in exploring, and I have so many goals for myself. And if you don't have that, make goals for yourself. Make goals for the future. Find things that keep you going every day. Don't stay in that place where you feel stuck. You can't heal in the same place that you were broken in. you have to move. You have to take that step, and you have to be courageous, and you have to maybe do things that are uncomfortable, but in the end, it'll be so worth it because you'll find joy. You'll find peace that you never could have imagined. And yeah, I just think it's so important to just find the beauty in life and find the things that make you happy, not what makes other people happy, not what you think will make you look good to other people. No, find what makes you happy because everyone has things, but everyone has different things. And that's okay if the things that make you happy don't necessarily make other people happy. That's okay. You're you. And just allow yourself to be happy. Allow yourself to feel it all. And of course, there are going to be times when you don't feel happy. You feel like crying. You feel like screaming, and that's okay. I don't want you to think I'm saying you have to be joyful and all sunshine and rainbows forever. No, that's not what I'm saying. There are places and times for that. And it also says that in the Bible. There's a time for weeping, but there's also a time for laughter and joy. Like, allow yourself to feel those feelings of sadness if you're experiencing them, but don't let it control your whole life because there's so much joy ahead of you. And I just want you guys to remember that it's not over. If you woke up this morning, you have a purpose, and it's not too late to find the joy in life. It's not too late for your spirit to come back, for your zest for life to come back. So search for that if you haven't found it yet. And if you have, I encourage you, keep doing it. Keep finding the things that make you want to wake up every day. Keep finding the things that make you happy, that push you towards your best self. Keep doing it. Keep going. And I'm proud of you if you have that. And I'm also proud of you if you don't, if you haven't found those things yet, but you're willing to take those steps. I'm proud of you. And I believe that everyone can find joy and happiness if they just take a second to look around and appreciate the beauty of life. That was a lot of information, and I got a little bit deep on some of the things, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I know I had a really good time, and I'm looking forward to next Saturday so I can come back and see you guys next Saturday at 10 p.m. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please make sure to follow and share it to any of your friends or family who you feel like needs this or would like to hear it. I am so grateful to be in the position to kind of share my thoughts and stories. I'm having so much fun, and I'm truly just loving it. I've found joy in this, and I hope I can keep doing it for a long time. So with that being said, I'll see you guys next week.